In 1851, the southern states of the USA famously seceded from the Union, beginning the American Civil War. However, America hasn't just had one civil war. The story we're talking about today starts in 1856. At the time, the governor of the Utah Territory was also the leader of the Latter-day Saints, which makes sense considering that most of Utah are Latter-day Saints. It's probably not hard for him to win the election. But in 1856, Brigham Young, the ruler of the Utah Territory, received terrible news from the Capitol. See, turns out the Republican Party was rising in power, and the Republican Party wanted to ban polygamy and slavery. Not only that, but there was a motion being floated in the Capitol to remove him from office. From that moment on, he began defying the US government. He declared that the Utah Territory would either become a state or an independent nation. They also told President Buchanan that they would resist any violation of their territory, and also resist any attempt to impose federal law upon them. And as far as the US government was concerned, this was a declaration of war. From January 1847 onwards, the territory of Utah recognized no law apart from that of Mr. Brigham Young. Federal troops entered Utah, and Young put together his Latter-day Saint militias, his Native American allies, and the local state militia, and built himself an army to stop the invasion. But there was never ever a pitched battle in this war, which is probably why you've never heard of it. See, Young decided that if the American troops ever moved past Fort Bridger, that was the moment at which he would attack him. And the federal troops never did move past Fort Bridger, simply because their logistics system was not in a good place at the time, so it was very hard to get ready for an invasion. The guerrilla attacks from the Latter-day Saints and the Native Americans also didn't help. About 150 people died in the war. 120 of them were in one event. You see, people quite often liked travelling between California and the East Coast, and to get there, they had to go through Utah. And quite often, when they went through Utah at the time, they would get ambushed by a Latter-day Saint militia and killed. And on September 1857, a train of 137 unarmed men, women and children passing through Utah would be ambushed and killed. 120 of them died. Only the young children were spared. Eventually, the war ended in July 1858, when the US government offered amnesty for anyone who was willing to lay down their arms and accept the authority of the US government. Brigham Young was then forced to resign, and the war ended.